Really excited to get out there. I told the team last night that I woke up before my alarm clock yesterday morning, excited to see them and get around them and meet with them, and then obviously today to get them out there running around. I thought for a practice one, the effort level was outstanding. Certainly missed assignments and poor technique here and there, and we're okay with that. I mean, that's as long as they're sticking their foot in the ground and running and going as hard as they can. That's a successful practice and practice number one. So, but again, it's just practice one, no shoulder pads, just running around. But I thought we competed, played really hard. Injury update: just recently, a couple days ago, Rob Cummins had another surgery on his knee. Appears to be a new injury, if you will, and so we scoped it. He's going to go through rehab and see what his future holds. And then Alvante Woodard got out of his boot today, is progressing nicely, and we're hoping by the end of the camp or week one. So, questions?
Tom, it's interesting. You mentioned being happy. It's taken you 2 years to get to this point where I feel like you have every guy out there bought in. Is that true?
Every is probably a bit of an overstatement,
but more than
has
been.
Yeah. The few that aren't, they get exposed by their peers, and they're learning every day on the importance of it. But the majority of the team is, and they understand our expectations, and this group's a joy to coach right now.
Do you feel like you're past the point of you're past the point of having to teach guys this is how you want it done and this is what you want, or is that an
not quite? It's always ongoing. Yeah, I mean, culture isn't static. It's ever evolving, and there's no such thing as a culturally neutral attitude and action, right? I mean, it's the old, you're either getting better or you're getting worse. What you're doing is either helping our culture or hurting it. And but I think that the biggest guys that we need to keep our thumb on are obviously those newcomers, being this is the first time they practice with us.
How much more athletic do you feel like you are now than you were?
Quite a bit. I think I was so tempted to say some.
I knew you were. On the wheel.
Yeah, and not just from a recruiting standpoint, but from a development standpoint. This is a guy, I can't remember where I said it, and it might have been media days, but a guy like Keontae Ingram, he's 20 pounds heavier, and he's running a mile per hour faster than he's ever run at a high-speed rate. So that's just one example of many of the guys that have developed, and then obviously we've recruited quite a bit of athleticism as well.
How important is some explosive testing numbers for us from Yancey after the summer work? Or?
No, we didn't test this year. That's probably going to be a every other year kind of thing, and Yancey thought it'd be best because on that test week, I mean, it's a very regimented deal that you have to do to lead up to testing, and so we felt like we needed that extra week of true development rather than test.
Coach, can you tell us specific, maybe 3 things that you really are focused on getting done in this camp? Obviously, running the ball is good because you want Sam not running the ball as much as you. Can you give us a few?
3 things. We got to find 2 starting corners that are trustworthy. We got to find a way to get the best 11 guys on defense out there in different personnel packages. And then we've got to make a greater emphasis on running the football with our tailbacks, running the football, designing runs that they're suited for, and understanding their skill set, and then to take some of those hits off of Sam, and we've kind of beefed up our RPO game. So instead of a run option, it's a run pass option.
Speaking of the defense,
There was some, yeah.
How important is this first week for kind of setting the tone for the rest of camp? What are you hoping to
to achieve when it's not real football, as you say, with just helmets?
Yeah, just effort. I mean, it is really important, and you get a lot of work, especially in the throw game, and timing and all that. You get obviously 2 days worth of installation in, but really at the end of the day, the first 2 practices are about understanding the intensity, the urgency, and kind of the procedure of how we practice.
Sam's your alpha dog leader. Who are some of the non-Sam people that you need to step up in a leadership position?
Well, I think, the 5 guys we brought to media days were brought for a reason. In Shackelford, Malcolm, Brandon, and Colin, those are all guys that, Malcolm's very vocal, Shaq's very vocal. Colin and Brandon lead a little bit differently, and they're working on being more vocal. And I think McCulloch is a guy that continues to improve in that role too.
When you hear you lose 8 or 9 starters on defense, I think that could set off alarms. Do you feel maybe more comfortable because of the experience some of those younger guys got going into a year losing that many starters?
Yeah, I mean, I think I said that at media days. I don't. They might not have been full-time starters, and I get you have to have that stat, but we feel very comfortable with the guys that have had quite a bit of experience here. It comes to mind the 3 interior guys, the 3 down linemen have played a lot of football here. Jeff's played a lot of football. Even Joseph has towards the end of the year played a lot. So the 3 positions are going to be that you're going to see fresh faces, are the 2 corners and the middle linebacker. So. But other than that, we feel like we've got quite a bit of experience coming back.
Coach, we talked a lot about you guys not having a offensive play over 50 yards last year. Do you feel like you have some playmakers? If so, who are the guys that you think could have those explosive plays this year?
Yeah, we had one in the starting lineup in Devin Duvernay last year that we've got to do a better job getting him the ball, both schematically and from a timing standpoint at the quarterback position. And then, the slot receivers and Josh and Jake. And Brennan Eagles is a really explosive guy too. So that'll be a tough challenge to see, who the best 3 at receiver. And then our tailbacks are, if they get out in the open field, they're pretty good with it.
Given that thought about this, no long plays, how likely is it that you just go deep on the first play of the season?
I have no idea.
How did your freshmen look out there? It's the first day, obviously, of kind of doing this kind of thing. How did they look?
Physically, they look great. You can tell they've had a good 8-week session with Coach McKnight. Their heads are spinning from a speed of the game standpoint and just the intensity of practice standpoint. But I really do think their physical development it looks really good. We've got to focus on the intensity of practice, and then obviously the scheme.
You know what the national championship at Ohio State, so you know what a great team looks like, and you're a top 10 in y'all's poll. Is that deserving, you think, to look like that kind of caliber of team?
Oh, I don't. I think it's way too early to go there. I do know we're a good-looking team that practices really hard, that is bought into our mentality of going 1-0 each and every week, each and every day, each and every rep, as well as being physically and mentally tough. So way too early to answer that, but I do like what I see.
Going back to buy-in, though, I mean, when you look out there and see 22 starters, do you know every 22 guys is bought in, and the next 22 are bought in?
We will by the time we jog out for the first game, because we're not going to put a guy out there that's not completely bought in.
Right. I mean, how many guys made the Champions Club dinner?
It was 61 out of a possible 80 that were eligible. The incoming, the newcomers that got here in June were not eligible.
Mm-hmm.
In the first year, you only had like 30.
Hang on.
Right. Yeah.
We saw Devin running some routes at H today. Is that a possible way to get him the ball more?
Yeah, I think it's a testament. We hadn't planned on that until these last few weeks. It wasn't even on our radar, to be honest with you. And then, we had some long personnel meetings offensively, and Devin's had an unbelievable offseason, and so has Brennan. You know, we feel like, you know, that those two younger H's have to really prove that they deserve to be on the field for an extended period of time, because if that's the case, and, you know, Brennan and Devin are playing the same position, then one of them is going to be standing on the sideline every other snap. So experimenting with it right now, but it was due to some recent personnel discussions and how good a summers both Brennan and Devin had.
How important is it for?
Hang on.
You know what the testing numbers were for Jake Smith, and what are your early impressions of him?
Not off the top of my head. I don't know the numbers. I know they were really good. You know, top 2 or 3 for the newcomers. And first impressions are he keeps his mouth shut. He works his tail off, and he's really athletic, really fast.
How's your schedule line up moving forward when you get any pads and all of that?
So these first 2 days NCAA, we got to be in shorts and helmets. The next 2 days is helmets and shoulder pads. And day 5 will be the first day in full pads, and then I'm trying to think. We got to give them 1 day off per week. So I think we go 4 practices, day off, then full pads, then that's like 6 straight days, and then day off, and so there's a full day off in there, which is new as of last year. So to get you to your 25 practices.
How important is it, Tom, for Sam? He's a team leader, but a position leader. Doesn't have Shane, who was maybe a little bit of a mentor to him, and now he's the guy in that quarterback room.
Oh, he does a great job. I think he wants. He's constantly coaching Casey and Roshan because, you know, he is the consummate team player, and he knows if for whatever reason those guys have to go in to spell him, he's partly responsible for making sure that they're ready so that his team doesn't take a step back.
With Casey and Roshan, I know it's only a small sample today, but what do you make of their summer progress?
Oh, great. Casey's grown up a lot. Roshan is, you know, really physically and mentally mature. Again, the game is really fast for him right now, but he's learning.
When you say grown up, do you mean mentally, physically, both? Any specific?
Oh, definitely physically, you know, in terms of his weight and strength. You know, the velocity on the ball continues to increase. His knowledge of the game, you know, he's seeing things a lot better, a lot clearer, and he just, you know, he's starting to mature into a man and not a big kid.
Do you see a difference in the way Sam is leading, his demeanor this fall compared to last fall?
Not really.
How much further along is Jordan
Dan.
from January? And I mean, how you wouldn't hesitate, obviously, to get him going.
No, he is our, yeah.
Is he any more, than maybe a normal freshman running back would be, getting carries, getting touches?
Again, it's one of the most amazing things I've seen in my 20-something years coaching is how a guy that's never played a position before in his life took to it that naturally. So, yeah, he's our second-team tailback right now, and we're expecting some big contributions from him.
Time
for 2 last ones, guys.
How are you, even if you want to, do you want to manage expectations on this team? I mean, you know, LSU tickets are, you know, $1,000, $2,000 for club seats. You know, you got one poll edge in the top 10, AP polls coming out later. I mean, some coaches with free could be like, hey, let's you know, we haven't played yet. What do you care? Do you care about that?
No.
Do you want fans to go crazy and
again,
get all hyped up?
well, we love our fans. Sure, we want them to always be crazy and excited about
You
the
know what I
season.
mean,
Yeah, excited about the season for sure. But again, you can't speak out both sides of your mouth and say the only people that you should care about their opinions of are the people in our program. And we talked at length of that last night, but we do need to have a sense of confidence that we have put ourselves the guys in the room that were here for last year's season and the season before and all the off seasons in between, we put ourselves in position to be legitimately, in that tier of programs, and we should play with the confidence, play like we're proud of the hard work and development that went in to get there.
Yeah.
And then, but it's not for us proving to anybody else that we belong. It's us proving to each other that we belong.
Where'd you vote, y'all, in the coach's poll vote?
What did I vote us? 9, I
9.
think? 9 or 10, something like that.
Yeah.
You pretty much tell your guys, playing off of Brian, like, the Sugar Bowl, that was great, but do you just kind of put that in the rearview mirror and still keep grinding, or do you try to use that as motivation for the success that you've had?
No, we again, since January, we haven't allowed any Sugar Bowl gear. We don't say, we and us. It's not when we talk about 2017, it's like, hey, do you remember when we? It's okay, remember when that team had this happen to them. So it's much different tense of how you're referring to last year's team. But there are a lot of lessons that can be learned, both good and bad. And, the good ones we need that team was known for and that accomplished, we're going to enhance and build on those. And then the things that they did poorly or maybe stumbled upon, we've got to learn a lesson as to why that happened and then make sure it doesn't happen to us, which is this year's team.